Hey, this is Bryce, and thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, Jack of Trades. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the upgrades that I've done for my Tamiya King Cab. These are custom parts that I've made, and recently I've gotten a lot of interest in them, so I thought I'd just go ahead and share in some of those details. But before I do that, I'd like to just draw attention to my new t-shirt. This is a Adam's Playground YouTube channel t-shirt. He started selling clothing while ago, a couple weeks ago, I guess. So I went ahead and ordered a t-shirt because I'm always going through t-shirts in the garage, so I can never have too many shirts, and what better shirt than to support a fellow YouTuber. So go ahead and check out Adam's channel. He's got lots of cool videos over there, as well as his clothing store, selling different types of swag with his logo on it. It's a good way to support the channel and keep those videos coming. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera around now and get into what I've done with this truck. Alright, so this is my Tamiya King Cab runner. This started out as well, I bought it used. It was a runner before, and then I stripped it down, cleaned it up, replaced parts that need to be replaced. And so it's a good condition runner for King Cab. These trucks have their issues, as everyone knows. They have problems with the transmission. That's basically it, the transmission. Transmission kind of causes these trucks to get shelved because the differential isn't designed to really handle the torque of a monster truck. So it usually ends up spinning, and it doesn't matter what you do to it. It's really hard to get the torque to the ground. So there's some mods you can do. They've been around for a while. They're even available. You can buy the parts on eBay, but they're not inexpensive. That kind of inspired me to try to come up with the same solution in those cases, but at a lower price point. And then in addition to that, I designed a custom battery holder to convert this from a stick pack to a 2S lipo shorty pack. And I'll get into that now. So let's see here. First, I guess I'll get into the differential. So the kit that I first saw that inspired me, it was basically, they took a Tamiya, let's see if I even have one of the original ones. I don't see it. I don't know what maybe it's actually in the truck. They were basically taking an Avanted differential, gear diff. So this is the main body from an Avanted gear diff. And on the Avanted, this plate that goes on this side of the gear diff sticks out quite a bit. It has a different diameter, and what you can do is you can turn that down. You can basically cut it and turn it down, and then this will drop into, black one is not the stock one, this is mine, and you can drop that into any of the vehicles that use this style of gearbox. So you've got the King Cab, the Astute, Super Astute, I believe, Madcap, St. Dragon. There's a handful of cars that actually use this gearbox in this truck. With my shop, I decided I was going to make my own diff because you can buy the parts still. You know, with the re-releases, they're making the parts for these differentials, and they're not that expensive. And instead of buying because you can buy that Tamiya tree that has the part that goes on here, but basically you're getting a whole tree for one part. So that was getting kind of expensive, so I decided I would just make my part from scratch. So this is what I make. This is my design. This is my contribution to this solution. This solution's been around for a long time. It's not my idea. It's not novel. But I wanted to kind of put my twist on it to make it more affordable. So I made this part here, and I buy these parts, these Tamiya parts here. And this is a machine from Delrin. And that's what you get. And this is the end product. And I sell these. You can contact me directly if you want to get them. But if you have a King Cab, I don't really advertise it. I have an ad on eBay that's perpetual, but I don't sell very many. I sell a couple a month. But if you have a King Cab and you want to get it running again, this is one of the solutions to doing that. If your differential has crapped out on you. The other part is that gear carrier. which is this guy here. You can buy these on eBay from another company. I also make them. They're almost identical, except mine has a little bit nicer finish to it, but that's just cosmetic on something that you never see. But I made a batch of them for myself because I have a couple of cars that need them. So if I'm gonna make, you know, if I have to make half a dozen of them, I might as well make 30 of them. And that's what I did. So that's why I have extras, and that's why I'm offering them if people need them. So let's get into the car a little bit. Just to kind of, if you're not familiar with this car, I'll show you where those parts are. So there are other options for fixing this transmission, such as replacing it entirely, but a lot of those options aren't really reasonable, because the companies that made that, there's a conversion kit to put a stealth transmission on this, but they don't make those conversion kits anymore, and occasionally they come up on eBay. Also, you can put the super astute transmission on this with the traction control, basically a slipper, and the slipper helps reduce the wear and tear on the differential. But again, those don't come up very often either. I think I've only ever seen one pop up on eBay, and they're not cheap. So that's why I came up with my solution, which again is not novel. It's just a replay at what's already been done in the past, but at a slightly more affordable price. All right, so one of the problems is that differential, and here's a caveat to using this astute differential. This differential has one tooth less than the original Monster or King Cab differential. Here's the original differential, the tan one, versus the astute one, and it has one less tooth, which means it's slightly smaller in diameter. But that being said, you still get decent gear mesh with this gear, where I have never stripped one out. And I've tried to. I've taken this out and I've jumped it, bashed it. I've tried to land as hard as I can on full throttle. I'm running a 13.5 brushless motor, so it's no slouch. I forget what I have this up to. I have a speed run video for this truck, and it's pretty fast. I'll have to check on that and put it down below. But the other issue is to help maintain that gear mesh so that you're not stripping it out. So in this design, you've got a pinion, spur, and then this goes to a counter gear, which is this guy here. And that counter gear is what engages the differential. The problem with this counter gear is that on this end it's supported with a plastic bracket, and that plastic bracket can also flex or break, which also causes problems with gear mesh, which can lead to stripping out that counter gear or the differential gear. So if you want to put some power through your King Cab and you replace that differential, you should also go ahead and replace this bracket with an aluminum bracket, and that's basically a quote-unquote bomb-proof transmission, though there's no guarantee on that. There's always someone out there that can prove you wrong. So it's a good upgrade to the King Cab if you want to run it without worrying about stripping out your transmission. What I really wanted to talk about was the battery tray that I designed, because that is novel. And that I don't think anyone's done it, and my solution I think is somewhat elegant or clean, and it doesn't require drilling extra holes in the chassis. It uses the existing holes, so let's get into that. And actually, originally my motivation was I had to pull this out anyways, because there are some people that are interested in this, and I need to figure out, well, I need to kind of go back and see what parts I had to make. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out so that we can look at it as an assembly. Got some zip ties that I have going to the frame. So So here I've got the battery leads coming through the shock tower. And then this is the battery cover. It's held in with a single body clip. You pop this off and slide it out. So you can kind of see these screws back here actually just act as a guide for this battery retainer. So we got that. And it's all carbon fiber and aluminum, so it's kind of tricky. So again, we're using the original holes. And it does replace the radio tray that goes in here. So originally there's a radio tray that holds the receiver, speed controller. And that guy just comes out like that. So plug the steering servo. Got a little slot there for the servo lead. Alright, so what I tried to do with this was, well, first use existing holes so we don't have to drill and tap new or drill new holes into the frame or the chassis. I like carbon fiber, so obviously carbon fiber. How cool is that? There's that, and then I tried to leave enough real estate for a receiver. The ESC in my car I'm mounting back here. I suppose if you're desperate you could mount it up here, but there's not really a lot of room for the ESC. Alright, so I kind of glossed over this, but on the stock truck, this area back here has the antenna mount, and there's some webbing in there, and it's not really an easy place to mount anything because there's no flat surface. So what I did, I had forgotten about this until I was looking at my parts. I made a little, oops, I don't know if you can see that, yeah. So I made a little carbon fiber plate that screws in using those two top screws for the gearbox, and that provides a nice flat surface to mount the speed controller. And that is part of that kit. And you have to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the steering servo. It's close, but it doesn't touch it. So yeah, and I've got some foam on the bottom here. I left enough room for foam for the battery pack. All right, so shorty pack fits in snugly. So there's not a whole lot of wiggle room, and it's held it down pretty securely while compressing that foam. So that's it, kind of in a nutshell. Top plate, lower plate, a couple of standoffs, and then a body post and the battery retainer. That's the kit. Now I gotta figure out how to make more of them. The carbon fiber I CNC cut on a CNC router. The posts I machine manually on my lathe, and so that takes time, which I don't want to spend time doing that sort of stuff on a production level. I don't mind doing prototyping or one-off stuff, but I don't want to get into production because it's just not worth my time. I'd rather be doing something fun than producing stuff. I'm kind of picky like that, but I can be because I've done production work in the past and it's monotonous. But anywho, I digress. That's kind of what I wanted to touch on, was just this thing here, this battery tray for the King Cab. The other stuff I just wanted to touch on again. I have to check my videos to see if I've talked about it. I mean, I know I was doing running videos just to test out that differential. I don't know if I really went into the details of it and why it works. If you like the content, please hit that like button, and if you find yourself coming back to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to us. It helps us out, it helps us grow, it helps kind of give us some kind of metric of feedback of how we're doing. And thank you for watching.